Now, we've been talking about various kinds of statements and whether their truth is relative or whether it's not relative, whether it changes from subject to subject. And we concluded thinking that we wasn't exactly clear. That is, we thought the factual statement was pretty clear. That's the truth of that is objective. Taste, when we're talking about what the best taste is, that was relative. Psychological statements, well, we're just worried about the statement, whether the earth is flat or not flat, from a psychological perspective, depends on who the believer is. And then the question we have is, with ethical or moral statements, are they or is the truth of such statements subjective, relative, depending on a group of people, the group of people that we're talking about, or maybe even the individual? And remember, I was talking about ethical relativism. Some people think that leads to ethical skepticism, but let's draw out a few of these consequences. Now, first of all, there's some people who assert that it's pretty clear that moral judgments are all relative, and there's all kinds of evidence they cite. They cite anthropological, sociological, historical evidence suggests that different cultures have different moral beliefs, practices at different times related to, and let's just go through a few. The list is probably much longer than the one that I've compiled, but cannibalism, well, that's presumably gone by now, or at least I remember one of those In Search of cable TV shows saying that cannibalism was gone, that the last one they thought was in Brazil or something, and they're no longer there. But there was what's appropriate for you to dress? What kind of dress? Should you be wearing a dress, a shirt, a suit to work, etc.? Marriage. Should gay marriage, that is single-sex marriage versus opposite-sex marriage versus, I guess there are other kind of arrangements. Polygamy, more than one spouse, more than one wife. Homosexuality, property rights, difference between communism and capitalism. Free speech, whether speech should be limited or it should never be limited. Equality. What is important about equality? Different cultures have different attitudes towards what constitutes equality. Price controls in the business area. Price controls. Whether prices need to be regulated in some way or not. Stock market manipulation. Different beliefs in different societies. In fact, there are different laws in different countries, capitalist countries, regarding stock market manipulation, not to mention that in communist societies there would be no stock market. So there are a whole gamut of different ethical beliefs going from culture to culture. And this is evidence cited for the claim that ethical statements, moral statements, are all relative. Oftentimes, they're relative to the culture in which you live, and that's why they call such a theory cultural relativism. But I think what we need to do is take a closer look at this whole line of reasoning to see if ethical relativism, that is, if the truth of ethical statements varies